Hello YouTube, this is everyone's favorite Dungeon Master, Lauren the Fox, because today I'm here to talk about a little bit of Dungeons & Dragons. And this is going to be a really unofficial, kind of laid-back video because I don't even have my backdrops or any of my stuff, but today I'm going to be talking about my experience as a Dungeon Master. I have been playing Dungeons & Dragons probably for about 5 or 6 years now, on and off. Of course, I've got children, so it makes it kind of difficult sometimes. And I'd like to say that, first of all, I like 5th edition really, really well. I enjoy playing 5th edition a lot better than I started out in 3 and 3.5. I enjoy 5th edition so much more than I enjoyed 3 and 3.5. Now, don't get me wrong. The very first game that I ever played was in 3. So 3 has a special place in my heart. However, 5th Ed the changes in the combat structures are a lot better in 5th Ed. I didn't even play 4th. 4th is like that sequel to that movie that you just don't talk about. So my very first campaign that I ever ran, myself, I was a Dungeon Master for, I ran Tomb of Annihilation. And of course, as a new Dungeon Master, you're going to make tons and tons and tons of mistakes. And if any of my players are watching my video at the current moment, then they're going to be like, oh my gosh, you made so many mistakes. And they actually broke me a couple times, meaning that they did things that I completely and totally had no idea that they could even do. There was a point at, I think it was about the middle of the campaign, where they were supposed to be they were going to do one of two things. They were either going to make friends with one side, with side A, the Terrafolk, or side B, the Aarakocra, or they were going to make enemies with both of them. So the option to make friends with both of them wasn't even like there in the Dungeon Master's little, TOA guidebook. So I had this character that rolled really, really freaking high for persuasion. So that character actually persuaded them that they should fight against each other. Now, note, those two factions at this point in the campaign, without giving away too much if you've never played Tomb of Annihilation before, those two factions, they hate each other. They're not supposed to be, like, friendly. They're not supposed to want to go out on dates together. And they don't want everything to be, like, happy, happy, joy, joy. So, whenever my characters in the party, my party members, whenever they put them together and now they're friends, this makes it so hard because all the encounters that I had, prepared, which means, I kind of just threw a couple things together because you never know what your party's going to do. And you can't prepare for everything, but I had like a vague idea of, okay, if negotiations break down with the Aarakocra, then this is what's going to happen, and then we're going to cue this part of the Tomb of Annihilation handbook. And if negotiations break down with the Terrafolk, we're going to go with this option, and if negotiations break down with both of them, well, this is going to happen. But I didn't actually sit down and prepare every single little thing, because as a Dungeon Master, my very first mistake was over-preparing for my first couple sessions. Like, I obsessed over it, and I wanted to be a good Dungeon Master, so I literally tried to prepare for every single thing that the characters would do, and it consumed a whole lot of my time, and I ended up, not being a very great DM at first, because I tried to prepare for literally everything that they were going to do. And it didn't work out. Sorry, I need my coffee. I've got kids. But anyway, so I tried preparing for literally everything that they were going to do, and it didn't work out at all. And then another thing that I did was I was afraid to kill players. Now, whenever I say this, I'm not one of those Dungeon Masters that's just going to try and go out of my way to murder all the PCs, because I've actually ran with Dungeon Masters that have done that. Yes, I am looking at one in particular. If you're watching this, you TPK'd our entire party with 20 hit points left on one of the bosses. Come on now. All it would have taken was one of us at 7th or 8th level to get a hit in, and we would have won the entire campaign. But it might have taken us another week or two, so, they decided that they didn't want to do that, and they just TPK'd everybody and just went, yeah. I had one of my favorite characters in there, and yeah, so my little sneaky sneak rogue was like super excited about things, and her stealth didn't work. Like, I could have probably rolled a nat 20 and her stealth probably wouldn't have worked. Anyway, I'm a little butthurt about that, little sore about it, even though it's been almost 3 years since that has happened, but whatever. It was my first return campaign since I had kids, but anywho. I would also like to start doing some vlog videos about my experience with Dungeons & Dragons, and whether it be just things that I notice, whether or not they're in my game or whether or not they're in games that I play. You know, like different styles of play, different players, things that, you know, common misconceptions about Dungeons & Dragons and things of this sort. So I think I'm going to start doing little vlogs and things like that, because my personal experience with dungeon mastering is, as a mother of 3, I don't really get to get out a whole lot. I don't really get to go do a whole lot of things. And I don't really have a whole lot of a social life, because my social life revolves around, well, the mess that my kids are currently making while I'm making this video, because my house was clean and they can literally destroy it in 0.5 seconds. And it's been about 6 minutes, I'm guessing. So yeah, my house is probably going to be pretty destroyed, and I'm looking around and I'm thinking, yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, come on. So I don't really have a whole lot of time for myself. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and it gets pretty lonely sometimes. So my experience with dungeon mastering and with playing Dungeons & Dragons is that it got me out of my house, and it got me out of my comfort zone with just having toddler conversations. And because, well, my now 4-year-old was, you know, the only other human being that I really spoke to that could talk back anyway, because the babies don't really say much. And I have now this group and this network of friends that, I mean, there's about 7 or 8 of us, give or take. And if I need something, I can always call one of my friends. And I mean, one of them's going to answer. We have a big chat group on Facebook, and all of us like talk about our day and talk about our week and send funny pictures and memes and stuff like that. And, you know, like, they know that if they need anything, or, you know, all they have to do is just give me a call or give me a text. Most of them have my personal cell phone number, which is something that never happens. I never give out my personal cell number. It's just, it's kind of private. You know, I don't want people blowing my phone up all day. But now I have a social life. Every Tuesday I go to my local game store, and we get to not think about reality for a little while. We get to, you know, engage in a little bit of role play, and we get to be silly and do silly voices, and it's a lot of fun. So if you've never tried Dungeons & Dragons, you need to, because it's a lot of fun. Anyway, this has been Lauren the Fox, the DM, everyone's favorite DM, and I will talk to you guys in my next video.